I'm Gabe,
I'm Jonathan.
and this is Driveway Video Discussions, a show where we talk about movies we watched without having to leave the house. This week, we watched the Rodney Dangerfield vehicle Back to School, and we're going to talk a little bit about it and let you know what we thought.
Yeah, it was, and I'm pretty surprised about that, actually. It's kind of a classic. I'd always seen bits and pieces of it growing up. I'm pretty sure everybody had that movie.
Yeah.
It's something that everybody saw at least once, so... But it was, it was cool sitting down and watching the whole thing. I remembered little bits from when I was a kid, like the high dive and stuff like that, but just tiny little pieces. So
the legendary high dive.
Yeah. So it was cool seeing, the whole thing as a whole as what it was.
Well, this wasn't my first time seeing it. I have a very distinct memory of seeing this movie when I was a kid, and the reason it's so distinct is because I was so innocent at that time, I guess, that I have this really clear memory of the scene that takes place in the bar. You probably remember it, where Dangerfield's up on stage singing Twist and Shout by the Beatles, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I just remember it being one of the most shocking things I had ever seen. There was a woman up on stage dancing, kind of shaking it, and I was like, at that age, I looked at it and thought, this is just total debauchery. Like, oh my God, this is the most shocking thing I'd ever seen. And it really left an impression on me, it's like this dark memory I have.
Oh wow, you must have been pretty young.
Yeah, I was really young. It was probably right after it came out on video.
Yeah.
So this is the 80s, and it just hit the video stores. So it left a big impression.
That's one of the less offensive scenes in the movie.
Yeah, really. which is what's so funny about it
Yeah.
in my mind. So
I really like Rodney Dangerfield. I think he's really funny. I always like him in the movies that he does. I like how he just kind of fits in with all that. He's always surrounded by all these younger actors and younger people, and he just kind of jumps in and fits in. He's always ready with a beer and a cigarette. I kind of just like watching him. I think I just like watching him do what he does.
yeah.
But since I haven't seen the movie before, I haven't seen a lot of his comedies. It's really hard for me to get that psychotic image from Natural Born Killers out of my head because his eyes are so bug-eyed and insane.
Was that your first
looking.
experience with Dangerfield?
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers?
Yeah, that definitely was. So that's what I have of Rodney Dangerfield. So,
Wow. Yeah, this is not that at all.
No, every time I see those eyes, those giant bug eyes, I just think of Mallory's, deadbeat, horribly abusive dad.
I also like Dangerfield, but what I liked about Dangerfield the most was when he wasn't being Rodney Dangerfield, when he wasn't doing his stand-up routines, because he's throwing one-liners from his act. And I like Dangerfield's act.
Yeah.
I do. I can listen to him for hours as a stand-up, and he's hilarious. But it just didn't work for me in the movie, his one-liners and stuff. I just wasn't feeling it, But what I really liked was the moments when he wasn't playing Rodney Dangerfield. When he had these sensitive moments with his son, and you could see that he really cared about. And I feel like he's a better actor than this movie gave him credit for. Like, he could have really brought some humanity to the role. I also loved Sam Kinison in this. I had completely forgotten he was in this. And of course, seeing Robert Downey Jr. as a total dork,
I know, that
was great. It just killed me. I just thought that was hilarious. And then William Zabka, a.k.a. Johnny Lawrence from The Karate Kid.
Oh, man.
Who is on my personal dream list for The Expendables 3.
Oh, nice.
I just love him in this role, which is, of course, every role he played in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
I just loved him.
Big problem I have with just kind of 80s movies in general is kind of what passed for acting in the 80s.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, nothing against any of the actors, no matter how great they are. I think just that decade was just horrible for actors. So 80s movies in general just kind of get me on that level. And of course, this movie is really, really predictable, which I didn't really like, but I'm sure if I would have seen it growing up, grew up with it, I'd feel differently about its predictability level.
Yeah.
But, you know, when a movie's that predictable, it kind of just becomes like a background movie. You know, something that you put on to like fall asleep to or put on when you're not really paying attention.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's not too many things to dislike. I mean, it is a comedy. You can't really expect a whole lot of on the cerebral level.
I actually found a lot of stuff I didn't like about this movie. As I already said, Dangerfield doing Dangerfield really was a turnoff for me. Also, any college movie that came after Animal House is trying to be Animal House.
Right.
And in the moments where it was really trying to be Animal House, the bar fight and stuff like that, you are never going to be positively compared to Animal House. No
Yeah.
movie is going to try to be Animal House and come out on the winning side of that. Animal House is the gold standard. Don't bother.
Yeah.
You should just try to be your own thing. Also, Sally Kellerman, who played Dr. Turner's the female, the love interest of Dangerfield,
Yeah.
her whole approach to the character, which I think is just her. I think she plays probably every character this way. I just really didn't like. She was
Really?
just, she just grated on me. That I'm Sally Kellerman, and this is how I play everything. So I just feel so sexy and so it was just the best.
You feel like she should have one of those really long metal things with a cigarette in it.
Yeah, it's
wandering
just
around like Cruella de Vil.
just irritated me. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I guess it didn't really bug me as much.
Yeah, well.
I actually think this movie still holds up really well because, you know, you see things coming after this movie like Van Wilder or like Billy Madison, and you can see where they got their inspiration from this, like the original. Even though
Yeah,
Animal House is kind of the real original. But you can see, I mean, where they got the inspiration from and how that story is kind of a classic story, someone going back to school and, you know, spending time with their kid, trying to get closer. There's a lot of really classic elements to it. So I think it holds up pretty well today.
I did not feel it held up well. I felt like this movie was so dated, they didn't even have to tell me what the years were. I could have basically picked it out just watching any scene in this movie. Down from the casting of the kid who played his son to Terry Farrell from Deep Space Nine, who played the love interest,
Yeah.
the son's love interest, to the fact that there's no build-up to the romance. You know, it's like
Yeah.
she just loves him because he's the main character, and that is just a really dated thing that they did in the 80s, and it does not hold up well for me. I felt like it was probably a lot of fun back when standards were different. I'm not going to say lower. I'm not going to say that standards were lower. I'm going to say standards were different. What people were looking for in a comedy was very different.
Yeah.
So for that era, it probably wasn't a bad comedy. It probably was all right. And if you can still watch movies like that and feel like they hold up today, I can see how you would feel like they would hold up today. But it just didn't for me. My personal standards do not bode well with 80s comedy in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you there. It was extremely 80s. There's more mullets than a NASCAR race in that movie. I'm gonna give this movie. I'll say a 6.5.
6.5. Wow.
It's not great. I mean, it didn't just kind of fall flat. You know, like I'd feel like a 5 movie would. It didn't fall flat for me. I felt like it was intriguing and I was interested enough the whole time to give it a 6.5.
I'm going the other way with it. I'm giving this movie a 4. It had moments where I felt it really shined, and it could have been a good movie, but I didn't like it. I felt it was just kind of crap.
Yeah.
It just, like I said, Dangerfield was just so damn good when he was good that it really bummed me out that the movie ended up being what it was.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it could have been something great. A father and son story with him performing as well as he did in the scenes when he really shows how much he cares about his son. It just disappointed the hell out of me. So yeah, I'm not going to say it's total garbage, but yeah, kind of crappy. So thank you very much for watching. Go ahead and click the annotations bar down below to go to our channel, like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, read our blog where we're going to have future updates and special features and all kinds of special crap like that. We're going to try and do these driveway video discussions at least twice a month. So be watching out for the next one. I can't say when it's going to be, but it is coming. We hope to see you here next time when we watch I Heart Huckabees.
Stoked for that.
I'm very curious to see what it's like. So, see you later.